Hey everyone, I wanted to do part 2 of my artificial sweeteners and carbohydrate talk. So I was previously talking about what makes a carb good and bad. So as a Reader's Digest condensed version, go with a low glycemic index carb. It will certainly give you more energy in terms of keeping you feeling fuller longer without having big increases in your insulin spike. So things like oatmeal, lentils, bananas, kind of darker skinned fruits, those are going to be a little bit better for you. Stay away from high glycemic index carbohydrates. That would be like some citrus fruits, watermelon, and of course things like cakes and candies and candy bars. That kind of goes without saying, but I'm really kind of focusing on some of the whole foods that patients may or may not know about that might be good or bad for them. So what about artificial sweeteners? I get a lot of questions about artificial sweeteners, and they're certainly not all created the same. And I think the number one question that I will get from folks is, will an artificial sweetener make me fat? And will it make me gain weight? And it's interesting, for a long time the jury was kind of out, but we're getting more and more data that kind of says that it can predispose you to gaining weight. And the reason why is most artificial sweeteners are hundreds of times more sweet than simple table sugar. And because of that, it's almost like your body gets used to having a much higher sugar content or sweetness, and so it takes more to kind of satisfy that, and so you certainly are going to crave more sweets. This past weekend, I can definitely say I've been trying to drink much more water, so I haven't really have had any Diet Cokes. I had a Diet Coke this weekend. Oh my gosh, I had so many cravings, and unfortunately there were, where I was at a lake house, and there were chips and candies and cinnamon rolls, and let me tell you, that's why I'm out walking and why I probably have a big old pimple. I partake in everything, and I really think that me having some of those Diet Cokes led to it, because I was really shocked at the sugar cravings that I was having. And so the research certainly is pointing to that. While the drink itself or the food itself may not have any caloric value, the little number it does on your brain in terms of cravings, that actually can increase your cravings for sweet things. So I would really say, use those sparingly if you can. A better option, instead of just using a plain Jane artificial sweetener, would be look for a low glycemic index carbohydrate. That's why more and more of these sweeteners are coming out, like monk fruit. I really like agave syrup. It tastes really good. I mean, there's calories in it. That's fine, but they're not artificial, and so you still get this nice sweetness, but you're not going to get a great big surge in insulin or a big surge in your glucose, and you're not going to get these profound sugar cravings. So it's kind of like the best of all the worlds. You get your sweet, but you don't get all the negative. So agave is actually what I use to sweeten my oatmeal with. It tastes really good. Also, if I'm making pancakes, that's what I'll use instead of maple syrup, which of course has a very high glycemic index. I think one other thing to note is sometimes folks may have kind of some issues with irritable bowel, so IBS. And there's a great diet that is out there. Maybe I shouldn't say it's really a diet, but it's really like a list of foods that can cause some GI upset. So folks, sorry, I'm crossing the road. Don't want to get run over. So there are certain foods that are carbohydrates that the gut bacteria are just going to go to town on. And because of that, you could get a lot more gassy, because you're basically getting filled up with bacteria tubes. And some of those are going to be some of the artificial sweeteners. For instance, if I eat Splenda or use Splenda, oh my gosh, I'm just going to be miserable. And I love the Chick-fil-A lemonade. And for the life of me, I did not know why, whenever I would get their diet lemonade, I would drink it and then my stomach, I was just kind of sour or kind of bloated feeling. I thought I was just full. But I started to realize that also if I would eat use this one cake mix that also uses the same artificial sweetener, I mean, I would eat it. It was great. It was low in calorie. It's artificial sweetener. But I would get kind of bloated and crampy, and I realized that it was that artificial sweetener that was doing it. Even some of the more natural type sweeteners can cause some of these symptoms as well. So I guess the long story short is that not all artificial sweeteners are cracked up to be everything that they say that they are. I think in the end, natural is always better. If you can have a natural sweetener, reach for that instead. You might have less GI upset and bloating. There is, I will get it to my folks so I can get it posted. There's a great list from some GI consultants that have a list of all the FODMAP foods. And FODMAP is really just a list of a bunch of carbohydrates that can cause bloating. And one little section are called the polyols, and they're just different types of sweeteners that can cause some of this issue. And what it falls in some of these sweeteners that can cause the GI upset, it's gonna be some of the artificial ones. So it's really important that you're reading labels. If your tummy is upset, if you're like, you know, I've really been trying to diet and I'm trying to exercise, I'm doing this 3 days a week. I think I'm trying to do the right thing. I don't think I'm depriving myself or starving myself, but I'm getting these horrendous cravings. Why don't you go back and look and see the food that you're eating, seeing what it's sweetened with. You might be unpleasantly surprised to see that maybe it's these supposed good foods that you're eating that are really working against you. So read your labels, take a look at that FODMAP, take a look at the artificial sweetener intake that you have, because all of that is going to have a profound effect on your sugar cravings, your feelings of satiety, meaning feelings of fullness, and also any issues with bloating that you might be having after you eat. So hope that this helped. Bye.